What's up, Idara? Good to see you. What's up, Arif? How you guys doing? Happy Thursday. Hope you guys are doing good today. I have my window open today. That's why you probably see more light. But I'm really happy to be here with you guys. Excited to get going. We're gonna be looking at some tools today. Some of the new tools in Photoshop. Things that maybe we can do with them. How to push them a little bit further, and how to explore a little bit with them. We'll probably end up doing something together today as well. I feel like it would be cool to kind of use these tools a little bit more and try to do some new things with them, and yeah, see what happens in the process. Also, we're obviously checking Discord, so if you're not on Discord, I invite you to go to Discord and be there and share your work as well, because I normally look before the stream starts. I look at Discord and I check it out, so make sure you go there. What's up, Lucas? It's good to see you. What's up, Jury? Good to see you. Decky? Is that your name? PG, good to see you. What's up? It's good to see you guys. You know, another Thursday happening here. Audio very low. It's probably because I have my mic on right in front of my face. I had it to the side. Is that better? Can everybody hear me okay? I think it should be fine now. Okay. I was saying we're going to be looking at some tools today that are going to be pretty fun and pretty cool. Thank you for the heads up on the audio. I'm sorry, I have my mic over here on the table. But should be fun. Should be good. Is the volume good now? I feel like it is, but awesome. Okay, I for some reason lately forget to grab my mic. I have the mic right next to me, and I forget to pull it in. But thank you all for being here. I was saying, let's look at some of the tools that are happening inside of. We're going to be looking inside of Photoshop Beta, because there's some new tools that we're going to be exploring. But then there are almost all of these tools are made their way already into Photoshop, the main Photoshop. So we'll be taking a look at some of those tools, and then we'll be creating something together. Hopefully we can come up with something. We'll see what we can come up with. I was also saying, if you guys didn't hear me, that we have a Discord for Adobe Live that you can join and you can share your work. So we would love for you to be there. If you're not a part of the Discord, please go there. And that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to switch over to this view, and we're going to be going into Discord, and we're going to be checking out some of the work that you guys have been sharing this week. We did this last week during the show. We talked about some of the perspective tool and how to work that a little bit. I have more information right now about how credits work with this, if you're using any generation within Photoshop, and how it works on that. And then we'll be testing it out a little bit more and kind of understanding more how it works, right? It has its limitations, obviously, and it has good things that is really good at doing, and other things that is not that great at doing. So we'll be taking a look at that right now, and as well as any other question, any other thing that comes up in the while the show is going on. Let me know. If you want to throw it in our chat over here. I always read the chat as we go. Thank you, Dara, for sharing our Discord. So check out the Discord. Join us there. We have some work from Arif. He did this inside of Photoshop Beta. No, I'm sorry. I read that wrong. Did I? Say like that cat image who's waiting for Photoshop Beta. You don't have the beta. You have to join. So if you have any subscription that includes the regular Photoshop or the cloud, you can go in and download the beta, and then you can play with some of these tools that we're going to be checking out today. Now, Arif submitted this artwork right here. We're going to be checking it out. So this artwork looks like this is the original photo, and we'd like to see a little bit of the process. Good job on this, Arif. It looks pretty good. I'm liking how this kind of changes in the metal over here, and then there's white flowers on this side, a little bit darker on that side. You have the model repeated 2 times. I love this frame right here. One thing that I would have done different, I'll give you a little feedback for it, is that I would have maybe centered the subject that has all these effects in the middle of the frame, because this one in the back here is distracting a little bit from the composition. And then I would have used a different font for these. Maybe something, if you want to make font that feels a little bit more standard and like is communicating the day or what you're doing, maybe make a super small in the corner. But if you're making a font that's part of the composition, it's better if you use a font that aligns better with your artwork here. I would think that something more ornamental would have been better for this. So that's a little bit of critique that I would give you there, but good job on creating this. This looks amazing. And like I said before, your work keeps getting better and better with time, which is something that I appreciate seeing. And I love how, you never stop creating new things, and that's what it's all about. What's up, Jenny? Good to see you. Welcome to the chat. All right, I'll keep going over here. Daria shared this animation that looks really cool. And I don't know if you made it on, let me see if it says something about where you made it. Hey, everyone, contribution this week. I've been reflecting a lot on what's being shared about the creative process, especially the idea of piecing things together. Attention to small details and how it shapes into the bigger picture. Still figuring out things, but enjoying the process along the way. That's what it's all about, Daria. Go in there, guys, and give her a thumbs up for this work because this is what it's all about, right? It's learning a little bit of the process, and I see that you're doing, playing a little bit with, it's exactly what it says, playing with this composition, playing with the colors, adding different things. I really appreciate how you're doing that. I don't know where you're building this. Maybe next time share a little bit of where you're building some of these things. We'd love to see it as well. And if you guys are watching and you're like, hey, I have some work that I want to share, and I want to put it in, I want it to be reviewed, please go ahead and do that. I would love to see it there. It says Luca did something. Let me see. Oh, I see it down here. Okay. Sorry, Lucas shared these last minute. Let's see it a little bit bigger. Really cool. I love the double subject, Luca, in the back, and then also in the front and inside the guy as well. So cool. So we have 3 things going on. He said I had 20 minutes for my last contribution on Discord. It was a big challenge. I ended up being late today. You're totally fine, man. Thank you for sharing that. That's so cool. Yeah, I love how you're doing this, and I love how you are, usually working with really strong compositions like this one and kind of making it super cool. It's crazy that you only had 20 minutes, so you're able to put in 3 different images into one. I love the color. Your exploration on color is looking super cool. I love your gradients. And I love how you have the central image and then you have the other subject behind. It feels like it's expressing that. Obviously, if you would have a little bit more time, I know that you would have fixed some of the details around the face and some of the things like that. So yeah, I won't critique any of those things. I know, like in the show, like I do things that I'm going super fast doing. But great job. I love the composition. I love the extreme reds mixed with a little bit darker reds. So that's very beautiful. I love it. Sin, what's up? Good to see you. You're joining Discord. Okay, if you join Discord, share your work. I'll check again at the end of the show and let me know in the chat if you share something, and I'll be able to just open it and do it. But without further ado, let's jump into some of these new tools. Taking a look at some of these new tools and how they work. Some of them you already probably seen. You've seen videos about. Hopefully, we can just jump in here and kind of like play around with some of these things, right? Kind of answer some of those questions and doing something together and understanding them better. So if you have any questions, or if you know how to use this tool better than me, which you probably will, to be honest with you, it's really good to tell me and how you use them and all of those things. The reason why I say you probably are better than me using these tools, because like I've said before, I'm like a caveman when it comes to Photoshop. I go in, I do my thing, I move really fast, I use the tools for whatever I need to use them in the moment, but I don't really enjoy like really going deep and understanding the tools, or I use them as tools, right? I don't want to have a doctorate in a single tool. I want to know as much as I can. So that's the purpose of today's show as well. Cool. Let's jump in. I need an image to start with. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you go to File and you scroll down to where it says Place Free Adobe Stock Image, you have access here to a bunch of images that look really beautiful. Some of them are about architecture and things like that. Some of them are, sky photos, clouds, things like that. You have textures. You have PNGs of fruits and things like that. Pretty generic stock images, but then you have some really cool things like this that you can manipulate. So this is a pretty cool tool. I don't know if you know, guys know about this or use it at all. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to just grab this image right here, and let's go ahead and grab also this little frog because it's so well lit. Maybe we can use that rotate later on to understand it a little bit better. Let's see if we can come up with something on this episode. Who knows? Maybe we can come up with something cool. When I say come up with something, I mean like a finished poster. As you guys know, like, you know, we'll see what happens. It'll be cool if we put this frog in this tiger's face. Maybe we can try that. Okay, so few tools that I want to go over that are really cool and they're really easy. Before, in the past, if you wanted to apply like a noise effect, and some of you guys are there might be wondering, why do you want to add a noise effect? Let me tell you exactly why. Okay, if I have these two photos right here and I click remove background, and then I have this frog over here floating, right? It's obviously very different than the tiger. We can click harmonize, and Photoshop is going to automatically harmonize this photography on top to match whatever is underneath. So it's going to do some calculation there, use some AI, and generate an image that resembles the same image, but then it has the lighting, the composition, not the composition, but the lighting at least, and then also sort of like the ambience of the photo in the back. There you go. It looks just like that, right? So it did really good at doing that. And not only that, but it gives you 3 different images that you can do and use. It's good to do this at the end because, as you can see, it kind of masks an image, but it creates a whole image together. Like it creates a full image. So it's good to do this towards the end where you have the frog in the place that you wanted the frog to be. My intent to start this stream wasn't to put this frog in and do this harmonized thing, but I'll show you in a second why, and then we'll backtrack a little bit and look at some of the other things. But sometimes when you have an effect like this and you are trying to blend 2 images together, one of the things that never looks the same, or sometimes doesn't look the same, like in this case, is that this frog was probably taken with a different lens, different atmosphere, even the like kind of like the haze that was around the room or whatever is totally different. So the best way to kind of hide all of that, to kind of like be sneaky about it and kind of hide it, is to add noise. In the past, the best way to add noise was to do a gray, a 50% sort of like color layer on top of the whole thing, which normally I would make it like this. Now we just click on this and do 50% here on here, and I'll do 0, 0. So I have a 50% gray on top of everything, and then I will have to go to filter, camera raw filter, convert to smart object, and then I would add noise. I'm showing you guys this whole thing because I think it's worth understanding kind of like the options that you guys got with this. I know normally the show is pretty fast and we just try to have fun creating something, and we will get there today, I promise. But also I want you guys to understand. So adding this noise here, so on the grain, and then clicking OK, and then you have this gray thing over here that you can use on top of everything, and then click overlay. And when you do that, it's going to apply the same amount of noise, if you can see it, to the frog and then to the tiger at the same time. And it makes it look like these 2 images were taken at the same time. So it's the oldest trick in the book, and it's a trick that if you do any compositing, it's going to help you so much to make things look like they're blending together better. You can see here on the edge of the frog how much it's blending into it with only adding noise. So pretty simple, pretty easy. Thank you, Arif. And yeah, it's a pretty simple thing, but it's a big deal. At least for me, I add noise to every single thing that I do towards the end. So let's move the frog now, and I'm gonna add noise the way that you should be adding noise right now. There's a new little tool that you can do, and you can add noise that way. Let's put this frog over here. Let me actually take it away for a second. And then if you go over here to our normal masks that we have before, now we have these 3 up here. We have color and vibrance, which we're going to be taking a look at. And when you open that one, it just helps you with controlling the temperature the same way that you would do it in camera raw filter. Obviously, it's applying it on top of a flat image, but you can really go to town with this. I don't know how well it looks in y'all's computer, but I'm going to make it extremely obvious so you guys can see it. So you can really play with the values here. and control every single one of those colors to make the image more vibrant or less vibrant. In this case, I want to make it more vibrant like this. Let me move the frog up. So you can see the tigers already kind of matching the vibrancy of the frog because of that effect. You can see the before and after. It's a really good effect. And before, you will have to go to camera raw filter to do it. Now you can do it straight up here. Let's look at grain, which is exactly the effect that I had to do this whole process to get this grain. Now I don't need to do that anymore. Then we delete that layer. You can just click on this mask, click grain, and then it'll prompt this thing over here. Let me zoom in so you guys can see it. Let me put in our little frog here so you guys can see the difference between the two, right? It's very obvious how different they are. But if you throw some grain on top of it, let's make it a little bit more noticeable. It starts blending them together a little bit more. And then obviously you can play with the roughness of the grain. Again, I don't know how well this is coming across to you guys on your house. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more so you can see the grain a little bit more. But it's doing its job there. The thing that you see that's separating the images big time is obviously the lighting, which we're going to fix with Harmonize in a second. But adding this noise now is a new thing that you can do with just this one layer. It's really simple, pretty easy. Now, how do you put all of these things together, right? These are the like backbones of compositing in a way. It's just harmonizing the image, cutting the image, putting images together, and then throwing effects on top of them to make it look like they belong to each other. So in a few seconds, we can click here, and we can do harmonize. And we're going to do the harmonize on the frog now. I think the position for the frog is decent. It's not that bad. It's not that good either. I could have fixed this little leg over here. Maybe frogs are smaller than that. Obviously, this frog is really tiny, right? I believe. Any animal people that know about animals in the chat, again, let me know. But normally frogs, especially this frog, I think is really small. So yeah, this frog will be definitely smaller than this. Which one do we like better? This one feels more realistic. It is a little dark. I like how this one pops off a little bit more. There's a little bit of white coming from the top. Maybe we can leave this one. Maybe this one is the best one, the more realistic one. This one is really, it's really there, huh? I'm tempted to use this one. Can I make it smaller? If I do, it's going to show the one underneath. It's totally fine. We can always change it. But in fact, the best thing to do would be to like run this again. Let's run it again real quick. So let's do the size of the frog exactly the way we want it. And again, my thing today wasn't to make this composition with a frog on a tiger's nose. I promise. But I feel like it's a good example of this, how we can use these tools, right? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's click Harmonize again. And with the power of magic and AI and all these things, is going to harmonize this image. And I feel like this is a really good use case for AI. Sometimes AI, like people use it for the most extreme things, to replace creativity completely or things like that. But I feel like this use case is really good because it's saving us time and it's editing an image that otherwise would have taken a long time to really edit or like do these light changes to it and all that. So in this case, I think I just deleted the one that I liked. In this case, I'm going to click generate again because I didn't really love any of the examples that it gave me to get something new. And then we're going to be jumping into expanding a little bit because there's a new, well, at this point, it's kind of like, when I say new, it's like probably being out for about a month or so. But I don't know if you're anything like me. You're probably not keeping up with everything that happens every single day. And it's my job to do so. And at the same time, I sometimes I don't have the time to do it and know exactly every single tool that's coming out. So one really cool thing is that we can now, the model for the Photoshop, Adobe released inside of Photoshop, is a little bit better. It produces images up to 2K. And it does a really good job of blending in with existing images. I'll show you that in a second here. Which frog should we leave? I don't even know. Maybe this one. Maybe this one. I guess I'll leave. I'll leave this one for now. Probably people are screaming at me from their house. Like, That frog is too big, but it's fine. It's just for fun. Okay, and then as you can see now with the noise on top of everything, we can go back and keep changing the noise, which is it's a huge deal, guys. Like before you have to go and do the noise again. Now I can control the noise as much as I want. I can make it smaller, I can make it bigger. I don't know if you guys are seeing any of that difference at your house with how this looks. One thing that I did forget to do was to show the dehaze, which is another effect, the third effect that we have here, clarity and dehaze. And if you click on that one, you can really bring the clarity up of the image, and you see how sharp it gets. It gets really intense and sharp, and you can increase the dehaze if you want. In fact, I feel like this needed that for the tiger only because the frog already had a little bit of that. Let me bring the clarity down and bring this down a little bit. And I feel like that, we have this effect now that's really good for compositing in the sense of like, really helps with that area. And it's something that you could do before, obviously, but it's something that you would have to do through a different process. All right, I'm going to turn the frog back because I actually want to make it smaller. And then obviously I want to add a few more frogs, but we'll use the rotate tool in a second and try to rotate them a little bit to make it a little bit better. Okay, so those tools are pretty simple there. Let me see. Let me open a different image real quick before we go back into this frog and keep working on it. There is the new AI, which is like, for example, I'm gonna select this top area, and when you go over here and generate a fill, you have different options, right? We all know that we have the partner models and you have the Firefly models. The Firefly models are commercially safe, so that means that you can use it for commercial work. You're not gonna get sued. Nobody's gonna get sued. Nobody can tell you anything because it's using commercial work to train the AI, which is really good. So in this case, we're going to be using the Firefly Fill and Expand, which is a model that allows up to 2K images to be produced, and it really plays really well with understanding your image and adding things or taking things away from it or expanding on them. It's really good at filling in the gaps. One of the strongest things that it can do is that you can reference images with it. And for example, here, let's pick one of the other images that I had here. It's this jacket. Oh no, actually let's do the crown because I selected the head area. So I'm gonna click the crown. It's gonna load this crown into it, and I'm gonna say reference the whole image, well, the object in the image. So it's going to delete the background, quote unquote, and then it's going to place it on the area. So instead of swapping anything, I'm not swapping anything right now. I'm placing the crown on top of the subject. So it's going to do the same things for compositing reasons. It's kind of similar to the frog that we were doing a little bit today. This is compositing heavy, right? So Arif, with the artworks that you've been making, and anybody else that's been working on like throwing in different images together, this is a great tool because it allows you to composite in a really, really good way, and it doesn't take a lot of effort. In this case, I don't love how big the crown is, but if we look at the quality of how well it looks like it's actually there, it's pretty impressive. Let's click generate again to see if it does anything at making it a tiny bit smaller. I don't know how that works on the sense of like being able to control how big or how small the object needs to be. I don't think there's any tool right now that allows you to do that, but I feel like this is a really cool. I've tried it with other things like a necklace or like a watch to do a product placement, and it works really, really well. In this case, it's doing this crown pretty big, right? I don't know if we should leave it or if we should try to run it back again. Yeah, the crown is too big. I don't know if it's doing that because the image itself has this kind of like angle that's lower. So it's trying to imitate the lower angle here. Maybe we can run it again and see what happens. We'll try one more time. Let's do whole image. It's probably going to try to add the black. This is the thing about like, using some of these tools that I was talking about. Like sometimes the tool works really well. Sometimes it surprises you. I'm surprised with how good the quality is. It's still making its way there with things like sizing and stuff like that. This one's a lot better. Yeah, I can live with this one right here in the middle. I feel like that's not an awkward size. That's right there. And then we're going to be using, but you see how well it did? Like it did so good at adding exactly the crown that I want. Let me bring in the crown so you guys can see it. And I don't know if you guys have seen any examples of this work online. I don't think there's a lot of people talking about this specific tool. I think when it came out about a month ago or so, it has been in beta for a while, and then they moved now to Photoshop, so you'll be able to do it in the main Photoshop. But you can see the reference and the crown that you use, how good it is, right? So if you're compositing things, and if you start like me when I was a kid, I started like by looking at books and then trying to photograph different things to bring them together. You can literally do that right now. You can photograph some things around your house and then bring them together into a master composition, or do it on yourself if you want to try different outfits. If you need to try different outfits for a magazine or something that you're doing, it's really simple. Let's try it. Let's start with this jacket, right? I feel like this one is hard. I didn't try this before the show, so hopefully it works. But I'm selecting the whole thing and I'm clicking generate fill. I'm making sure that we are on the right model, which is fill and expand, and it's made for this type of work. And then we're gonna go to reference, and let's choose some this jacket over here that I have. And you guys let me know if you want me to try something something like if you want me to try to break it, because I could try to break it. That's what I normally do with tools. I don't use them for what they're intended. Yes, I'm probably gonna need to swap a jacket at some point, and I know a lot of people, depending on your industry, you have to do a lot of work like this. I don't do a ton of work like this. I'm more interested on how do I artistically make it fun for me. And I'm probably gonna, I don't know what ideas we could have, but we can try to do something with it right now. Okay, I'm gonna swap. In this case, instead of place, I'm gonna say, hey, swap the jacket for this jacket. And then we're going to click generate. No need to say anything. I think this tool could improve by adding prompt to it. So it could be like, hey, so like if you can communicate a little bit with the AI in the process, like, make the crown smaller, it could be really good. All right, it created this, but it's kind of crazy. I knew this would happen because it's kind of hard with this photo that has the arms crossed to make that work, right? It's pretty tough. So let's try that again. Maybe my selection also doesn't help that one hand is out, one hand is in. Another thing that we could do is that we can actually make a selection of the exact object, which is probably the right way to do it. So you can, let me go back here and choose object selection. It's probably going to be the best way. And then we're going to, I know you can select the person and select different things on the person. Let's select the quote. I don't know if you guys knew you could do this. If you go over here to your tools, and then you go to selection tool, which is this one over here, you can go up here to the people that you have on the photo, and then you can pick your subject, which is going to be highlighted here. And after that, it's going to open a bunch of like different selection areas that you could do: the face, the beard, the eyes, the nose, all those things. One of them, happily for me and for you, is the quote. So I'm going to select the whole quote and then click apply, and it's going to make a selection around it, which is exactly what we needed. I'm going to help it out by helping with this little area over here. I'm going to add it. Oops, went too far. I'm going to do it with the lasso tool. Let's go old school over here. Okay, boom, and I'm going to help it over here. And then now let's do the generate fill and change the jacket to see if it only does it to that area, right? This is the cool thing about Photoshop, right? Other AI things, this is my experience, I'm speaking for myself here, but other AI tools don't have the exact level of, I could be so precise with Photoshop. I can tell, okay, I want this pixel, but not this other pixel, right? So that's what's great about it. I'm excited for all these. I use it for Adobe stock, and I'm jet green and Adobe stock. Okay, just keeps improving. Yeah. I'm trying to read your name to say it right. Dobby? You're Dobby? I don't know. I'm horrible at names. It's just so comical how bad I am at reading people's names on the chat. All right, look at this. It did a great job at swapping this jacket. It did change the color a lot, right? it's something that I've seen too, that it changes the color to match the photography, but that's way better than whatever this was. But it was my fault for not picking or choosing the jacket before, or like selecting it before I did the whole thing. But I feel like this is so much better, right? Yeah, I know it's not your real name. I'm trying to I try to read usernames and then say them however they would say them, but they're all different. Anyways, but yeah, so you have to select the area. If you want to switch a jacket, you have to select the entire jacket to then be able to do it. But I'm surprised every time to see how good this is. Like it's pretty tough because the arms are crossed and there's a lot happening here. There's this shirt underneath that I wanted to keep the same way, and he's doing it. He's doing a perfect job at doing that. This is honestly pretty impressive, right? So this new tool generates up to 2K, and a really good thing about it is that it's pretty accurate. In this case, it's creating this little thing on the back here that you can really just go to select and modify. And you can contract and then get rid of it that way, or you can do a little masking there. But the quality wise, there's no distinction between one thing and the other, right? It looks pretty good. It looks pretty solid, and I really love that. All right, let's go back to our little frog over here, and let's look at some of the other things that we could do. I feel like that new model is pretty sweet. This new tool seems to be really fun. Yeah, it's very fun, especially when you have to add things and take things away. For example, I don't know if you can add sunglasses to this tiger. Who wants to see that? Let's see if we can do it. You see, this is where we start kind of breaking things. By the way, follow me on Instagram if you want to. Magdiel Lopez is my username. I'm gonna look for glasses. Isolated. Let's see if we can put some glasses on that tiger. I'm interested to see how much you can push the whole thing, right? Obviously, it's the tiger. They don't use glasses. So is it going to break? Is it going to be like, put us in a weird place like it did with the other photo? Probably. But let's check it out. Why not? I'm also going to download this glass because I kind of like it for something else that I want to do. Okay, let's go ahead and look for some glasses over here. Well, that's taking long, huh? Download JPEG. Doesn't really matter. Let me see what glasses do we want to add to that tiger. It's going to look so lame with glasses anyways, but I just want to see how much it breaks or it doesn't break, right? What is the whole thing about it? Maybe we do these ones. Why not? Let's download these ones right here. Yep, license. Give them to me. Download them now. See you later, Arif. Thank you for being here, bro. I'll see you soon. All right, we downloaded the glasses, and let's go into here, and then we're going to do. Let me turn off the little frog so the thing doesn't totally lose its mind. I'm gonna select almost the whole head over here, and then I'm gonna do the same thing. Let's do generate fill, and then do reference image, and then let's throw in those glasses. It should work. Boom, over here. Boom, add the glasses. And I'm going to be doing place in selected edge area. This is probably going to break it, guys, but we'll test it out. Yeah, this is like, I was doing a project a little bit ago where I had to place some things in my office space. And what I did is that I took a photo of a bunch of things and I placed them using this tool everywhere that I wanted in the office, and it looked pretty good. This is so bad. I knew it would do something like this. Obviously it's going to kind of break it. This one is not that bad, but obviously it's not something great, right? The cool thing is that you do have a mask, and something compared to something that you would do in the past. You will have to do it from beginning to end yourself. At least now you have an asset that's sitting in an area that matches your composition, and it matches the lighting, and it matches everything else. And you can always come here, is what I'm doing right now, and grab a brush and just start brushing away the things that you obviously don't like or the things that look bad. And then you can obviously go back and paint them back if you need to. But that's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing it really quickly so you guys can see. But yeah, this is very weird. This tiger wearing glasses, but yeah, it's there and it's happening. Yeah, and this model is way better. If you guys remember some of the early Firefly models, they were not that great at adding things into place. And this one is really good at doing that as well. It's not only good at adding like a specific objects like this, but it's also good at adding like overall objects. Let me show you what I mean real quick. Let's open a new photo over here. Adobe Stock, place a free Adobe Stock image, and let's do a. What are we doing here? Let me see. We need like kind of like a landscape type of deal. let's try this out. I always also give the thing the hardest job that it could have. Like this thing. I'm gonna throw it in here, and I'm gonna select it. Select this area, and I'm gonna say generate fill. And we're going to go the same model, fill and expand. And I'm going to say add a horse. I'm going to send it, guys. I asked it to add it to that area. I kind of capped it at how big it could be because maybe I made it too small for a horse. But, you know, it's not too bad. Look at that. This one is bad. And it put the horse in behind the thing and in front of the thing. So that's obviously not that good. So the first one was the best one. Let me not cap it. Obviously, this photo is really hard too. That's what I was saying. I keep giving it the hardest job that it could have at doing something instead of like making it a little bit easier for the model. But that's the thing, right? There's some things where you have to do, and there's nothing you could do. You have to do what the client's asking you to do, or you have to kind of like adapt to what's happening. Like for example, what if there's a monkey sitting here? Monkey sitting on chair. What is that monkey that looks red? You know what I'm talking about? Those monkeys that have the flat face and they look red. Does anybody know what they're called? Chimpanzee? No. I can't remember what they are. Let's send that like this. And also when I say things, you guys are like behind like a few seconds. So it always feels like, you know, if somebody's going to put on the chat in a couple minutes or like a couple seconds. It did a giant monkey. Okay, the generations are definitely a little bit better. They're getting a tiny bit better with things. Let me see if I use the Model 3 and I do the same. If it does anything a little bit different. Orangutan, that was it. Orangutan. Yeah, it did a monkey here that's way too big for the space, right? So, you know, take it with a grain of salt. I think the Firefly, but look how much better it is than the last one. The last one was comical. It was not good at all. The new one is a lot better. It just works so much better if you do have a reference that you can use, and you can control a little bit more what's happening, right? But it's doing so much better with lighting, doing so much better. It's getting there. And one reminder for all of you guys is that these models are commercially safe, which means that Adobe is not stealing from anybody to make them, and they're also giving all of us the opportunity to use them commercially to do work for people, and nobody's going to get sued or is not training unethically anywhere, which is a great thing. All right, let's go back into our little frog and get to the tool of rotate, which, you know, as Marsha said on our Discord, and I did a little bit of research as well, and it takes 20 AI credits to do the whole rotate thing. And the way it works is that it uses those 20 credits one time, and even if you have to rotate again the photo, it doesn't really matter. It's going to cost you still 20 credits. So let me show you what I mean with that. We have the little frog over here. We're gonna keep one there, but we're gonna have multiple of them. So I'm gonna duplicate it, put it over here, and what I did is that I mirror it so I don't have to like abuse the rotation thing. Because one thing that the rotation tool, and if you don't know what I'm talking about this rotate tool that is a new tool that just came out. and you just have to click on, where are you at? This one. And then it opens this new dial that says rotate object. And when you click on rotate, this becomes like a 3D object. So it's doing it right now. It's converting it to like a 3-dimensional thing. And it'll take a second there to create a 3D. I'm calling it a 3D asset. Oops, look at this. What is this? Oh my gosh, I've never seen that. I think we found one of the floods. I'm gonna render here just to see what happens. Okay, it's the first time that I've seen anybody use this tool and give it such a bad thing. Let me look at the original. I mean, to be fair, it's a really hard object, I guess, to do. But let me render it like this because it's comically bad. And then we'll probably find another object to render in that way. I've seen that it renders people really well, and it renders even animals pretty well. Apparently not this animal, because this one is, I guess because of the position of the hands, it's kind of a weird one, to be honest. Okay, let's leave the frog there and not do the 3D rotation thing on the frog. Let's find a different image to do that. And this is how you know that we are, when I say that I plan the show, but I try to do everything on the show live so that you guys know the real thing. There's a lot of examples online of things that people do that are great, but also you're not seeing the real thing, right? How to fix the issues that come up on the way. And I'm really interested in you guys seeing the whole picture on that. Okay, let me view some of the animals that we can have here so we can try a different one. Maybe it was just that frog that was in a weird position. Let's try to rotate this tiger. That would be pretty impressive, to be honest with you. And it might break too, but that's fine. So let's try to rotate this tiger and see what happens with it. Oh, did I pick the elephant or the tiger? Or both? I picked both. Okay, instead of doing it here, I'm gonna go to a smart object and do it inside of here. To activate it, all you have to do is press Command T or the transform tool. And after you have it going, then you can start clicking the rotate, and then it'll do the little magic. It's going to spend 20 credits, and it's going to give me a 3D object that I can rotate around and do things with. I don't know if I should have expand my canvas a little bit before I did this. You see, these are some of the things that we see here that are going to be, learning process that we will find out. Obviously, it looks really bad when you're rotating it because it kind of creates this object for you to see as you rotate it, and then once you're done, it'll apply all the different textures, right? If there's a texture that it doesn't see in the original photo, like for example the face, the back of the tiger, it never saw the back of the tiger, so it's going to generate something. I don't know if it searches on understands as a tiger and searches in the, like for example, look at the tail over here. It makes no sense, right? So you don't want to push it too far towards like not anything that you could see in the photo. You could see the whole front of the tiger. Maybe the side will be okay. Maybe I want a pose that's not even that different, but it's a little bit like this, right? It's just like, okay, it looks like it was taking a little bit from the bottom. It looks a little bit more majestic. I want to rotate it like this. I want it like that. And that shouldn't be too much of a problem. So let's go ahead and click OK. And it's going to now use AI to look at the original image, look at this new 3D rotation thing, and apply all of the textures to it. We did a little bit of this last week. And then we created this artwork over here. That was really cool. Where is it? Somewhere around here. I saw it a second ago. Yeah, we created this thing. Obviously, it could reproduce this person, but it couldn't reproduce him. We were laughing at it last week because it couldn't reproduce a view from below because there's nothing on the original image that would show you the subject from the back and from below. So it's impossible for it to replicate something that it doesn't see, especially with like a human photo. All right, so here's what it did. It did this tiger. I don't remember what the original photo looks like, but the cool thing is that you can click edit rotation, and you can edit it again, and it's not going to cost you any credits. By the way, I'm changing here the angle, which means, hey, you're taking this with a photo, with the lenses, photo lens, or I can't think of the word in English. But and then this one is a little bit more of a wide angle lens. That's why it looks kind of weird like that. But I like that one. Let's switch it a little bit more. Let's rotate it a tiny bit more this way. Maybe was the original, right? Something like this. I do like the angle here from the bottom like that. It looks like it's standing on the rock. Okay, let's send that like this. See what happens. And then maybe we can go back and look at the original photo, see what it looks like, to compare it a tiny bit. But yeah, that's the thing about it. It's not going to do good if you swap it too much, or if you know, like really push it to an angle that is not going to be able to see. Like you can even see here how much better the texture is here in the chest than here, right? Because this area wasn't on the original photography. So in a way, it's okay. This is the original photo. It's applying some of this texture back to the tiger itself, and it's doing as good of a job as it can to like kind of like represent all those things as good as it can. But it's, you know, sometimes it doesn't do a great job at doing that. But you can see it over here. You see, it's squishing the face a little bit because of the angle and also because of that. So let's look at the other photo that we had, the elephant. Maybe that one is a little bit more simple to rotate. Okay, we have the elephant over here. Let's go ahead and rotate the elephant. I wonder if we can do it in here. I'm sure we can. So Command T, and then it'll bring up this dial, and then we can now rotate the elephant. He's going to spend another 20 credits right now. I'm spending credits like crazy right now. I'm looking at the chat and I see orangutan. Oh man. Okay, so elephant. I'm sorry guys. I'm laughing at myself because I'm something else. I always forget things. My wife is always making fun of me. She's like, dude, you're like, I don't know what's going on. Anyways, let's put this elephant here. Why not? And you see how we can change the angle, right? Of like, we're changing the angle from it being this frontal view to this top-ish view because we have this lovely tiger here that we want to have this elephant running on top of his glasses. Why not? And then we click enhance, and it's going to go ahead and apply all the same textures, right, into the glasses. Arena just walked in, and he's probably looking at this live like, what is going on here? It's an elephant running on glasses. It's a tiger. There's a lot going on. Welcome in. Good to see you. We're testing in some of the new tools and looking at some of the how to use them. This one came out really good. I think it's like pretty cool how it's like rotating this photo, is keeping it in the same place. And now we can just click Harmonize, and it's going to just bring all the lighting from the photo on top of the glasses, on top of the tiger. And it's going to do a good job at doing that. By the way, when you click on anything that's AI related and it creates 3 options, you're using 1 credit per option. So I'm spending 3 credits here. I thought I would clarify some of those things. Sometimes in my lives, I generate a ton of stuff. And I normally get people ask me, hey, how much does the cost in credits and all that? And yeah, and that's how much it costs. One cool thing about Adobe Firefly is that it normally runs like deals where you like generations don't cost any money. So be on the lookout for those, and then whenever those times come, you can really like go to town with them and just do a bunch of generations and stuff like that. All right, so this little elephant is pretty good. I'm grabbing the one, but you can see how good of a job it did at rotating the image. I feel like it's really cool, and it did a really good job at it. The frog, we never got to do anything with the frog. Let's go ahead and finish adding the frog over here. We're going to, should we rotate it? Do we need to rotate it? I feel like it's at a good angle. Let's try to rotate it again. That was pretty funny before. When we tried to rotate it, it became like an animated cartoon something. So I created a video with these new tools. Really? Dude, that's awesome. Okay, we would love to see that. If you want to add it to our Discord, we'll love to see the video and give you some thumbs up in there. All right, so here's the frog. That's why it was okay. So before it was like this, but then when you look at it from this angle, it literally looks like a cartoon character. So maybe it was just the angle. the angles are pretty tricky, to be fair. So it was like this. We want to keep it there. Okay, maybe it's doing like I'm viewing it. Before I was viewing it like it was like more like laying down, and this thing is viewing it like it's standing up big time. And it also added an extra leg. So maybe for your video you found here a funny weakness that you can show there. Okay, so I guess we don't really need to change the angle, to be honest, because I do like this angle. If anything, we can just make it smaller on this area over here and keep it right there. Just go in, click Harmonize, boom. It'll do its thing again. It'll click the Harmonize. And we're about 7 minutes or so, a little less than that, to finish the show. So I don't know if we should get into the territory of like really destroying these tools. And what I mean by that is like going in and really just playing around with them until we break them, which is what I love to do in my art. For example, I want to see what it looks like if we try to switch somebody's face with like a texture of glass or something like that. I feel like that would be something fun that I would love to see, and kind of merge it into that. And yeah, I feel like that would be a cool thing to do. But maybe we don't have that much time to do that today. Let me see what's happening here. I'm trying to see. My layering are crazy right now. This little frog Harmonize thing didn't look that good, but it's maybe because I have it all the way down here. When you do apply any effect, it's going to consider that effect and down from there. So you got to be really careful when you click Harmonize or anything that's taking into account the surroundings. You have to make sure you do it in the layer that you want to take into account the rest of what's underneath. If you leave anything out, it's not going to take it into account. So let's do it again. Let's run it back. And you know, I'm here looking at this tiger with glasses and a frog and an elephant, and I'm like questioning what I'm doing today. But we're learning the tools and we're having fun in the process, and why not? Okay, it's looking a little bit fake. We can always click generate again, see if we get some better results, a tiny bit. We're about to wrap it up. We'll add some light to these glasses like we're back in the 80s. And then we'll look at the final tool that I wanted to test out today, which we touched base a little bit last week, but I feel like we need to really look at it today. And is the text tool inside of the beta that got a little bit of a refresh. Okay, we'll leave it like this. It's okay. And then let's do a text box up here, and we're gonna say all of the animals are here. Let's do that. Let me switch it to white so you guys can see it. And then if you click on this dynamic text tool, you have the block thing that you had before, which aligns all of the text to fit within the constraints of the box that you have, right? So if you make this box a little bit bigger, it's going to align to it, which is a really, really cool thing for everybody, because it just lets you do this so much easier than doing it manually. So you're able to just do this pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Let me make this difference so we can see it a little bit better. You can really not see it that better, but that much better. Let me move it up, and I'm gonna do a gradient behind it so we can really see it for the sake of the text thing, so you guys can really see what I'm doing over here. All right, gradient behind, tiny bit. I'm gonna fade it a little bit. All right, so before you had this rectangle thing on dynamic text that lets you switch really the size of the text. It keeps the constraints of it, and it adapts the text size to fitting within that box, and it's really cool, right? So you can really do something like this. It's pretty simple, pretty easy. Now there's a few new things that you can do with the same dynamic text. If you go to dynamic text, now you can do a circle, which is, if you're in Photoshop, it's really something that, before it was really hard to do, and now you can just do it this way. And It's pretty easy. I keep thinking of these sunglasses that need to be shining like it's back in the 80s, and I'm gonna do it real quick because you guys know how my brain works. And if I don't do it, then I'll be thinking about it the whole show. And I know we're about to finish. So I'm gonna go select tool. Where are you at? Select object, and I'm gonna try to just make a lazy selection around here. We have around 4 minutes. Deselect. Where are you at? Boom. I'm gonna throw it over here and try to select these tigers sunglasses. Boom, just like that. I'm gonna make a new layer, and let's just do a random glow down here that we can then turn into white. Man, this image is really all over the place, guys. But I mean, it's not going anywhere. Okay, click OK. All right. So the text, the round text. Now with the dynamic text, you can create round, and then also here in the properties, you can say, hey, I want the text to be sitting on the line, below the line, or above the line. I really don't know what this one is for. Okay, so it keeps the top and the bottom, like it changes the orientation of how you want to see it, right? Perfect. So that's pretty simple, and it's really, really useful to do this. And then the last thing that you can do with the dynamic text that's brand new is that we can do in the same tool. I'm going to separate it here so you guys can see it. We can select the text again, go into dynamic, and do a half circle, which is exactly the same as a full circle, but only half. And we can do it in both ways, both orientations. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Boom. So you can do that like that. I'm going to keep it right here. Let me turn off the other text that we have going on around. And now we have this text. I just duplicated it and moved it over here that we can really, do stuff with. Yes, you could do this before in Photoshop. It was pretty, it was not simple to do before. Let's just say that. It was a little harder to do something like this. So these tools are just a little bit more simple, a little bit easy to work with. And you can really take advantage of working faster, doing a little bit more things. This frog doesn't look realistic at all floating in there. Maybe that's a tiny bit better. There's so many layers going on, so many crazy things happening. But yeah, that's how you use some of those new tools. And I wanted to show you guys some of those things, and hopefully this is something that, I know this stream wasn't about creating something crazy like we normally do in every stream, where we just go in and do anything and try to do something crazy and play with the tools to create a piece of artwork that resembles something, or you have a finished product that it's really cool and exciting. But in a way, understanding these tools is really, really important, and it really opens the opportunity for everybody, you guys out there, or anybody else that watches this video, to understand, okay, how can I work faster? How can I make more things interesting? And what are some of these things that are coming out, right? So it's not my job to tell you what's right or wrong. I feel like it's more like, it's good for you guys to know the tools and use them however you want to use them. But yeah, that's about our time today. The time went by super fast because I was just flying through these tools. It looks like the infinity symbol. Yeah, the other one does. But it's always great to connect with you guys. That was the stream for today, guys. I feel like time went by. I'm like, it's already time to finish. So love you guys. It was great to see you today. It was great to spend time with you. Hopefully I'll see you next Thursday. We can hang out a little bit more. I'll be making something pretty unique next Thursday, blending a little bit of shapes with a little bit of pixels and doing something cool and exciting, similar to what I do on my Instagram. So I'll see you next week. Submit your things. Let me go to Discord real quick, make sure nobody has submitted anything else. No, nobody submitted anything else. Submit something to Discord, guys. Love you all. I'll see you next week. Ciao, 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 ciao.